Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Maximizing LearningExpress Library's Job and Career Resources. My name is Tammy Ross, and I am the Senior Marketing Manager for LearningExpress and EBSCO School and Public Library Databases, and I will be moderating the session today. Today's presenters include three members of our EBSCO LearningExpress team, Director of Sales Jimmy King, Product Sales Specialist Miriam Moss, and Customer Success Specialist Trish Politz. The LearningExpress team has a lot of great information to share with you today, and I will turn the presentation over to Jimmy in just a moment. But before we begin, I would like to take just a couple of minutes to go over a few housekeeping items. The presentation is scheduled for about 45 minutes, and we'll set aside an additional 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions. Please feel free to submit your questions at any time during the presentation by entering them in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. At the end of the presentation, we will go through your questions and answer as many of them as time allows. Should we not have sufficient time at the end of the session to answer all questions, we will be sure to respond directly to you within a day or two. This session is being recorded, and the recording will be made available to you in the coming days. Please be advised that we have muted all audio lines to avoid feedback or interruption during the discussion, and we thank you in advance for keeping your line muted throughout the event. Again, please use the chat box to communicate any questions you may have during the session. And without further delay, I would like to hand things over to Jimmy to get us started.
Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that very much. And I am Jimmy King, the Director of Sales. And let's just move to the next slide here real quick. I'm going to speak a little bit about what you guys already know, that with this pandemic, you guys, the public libraries, are seeing a lot of people come in and have been hurt by the economic crisis. Businesses are shutting down. People are being laid off. People are being furloughed. People are being underemployed. A lot of different circumstances that our public libraries are being hit with very hard right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about those challenges, and then I'm going to turn it over to Miriam. And Miriam's going to walk you through the LearningExpress platform and Job and Career Accelerator product and talk about some of the job and career resources that are there to make sure you're aware of those. And then Trish is going to walk through some of the tools for optimizing and promoting LearningExpress Library. And she's going to talk about ways that you can make sure that the content, the job and career related resources in the platform that are important to your patrons at this time, that they can find those easily. So she's going to talk about some ways that we can help you promote and make sure that they find these particular resources. And first of all, I'd be amiss without thanking you for being a LearningExpress Library customer. We love our product. We love the fact that it helps people, and particularly in this time of the pandemic, the fact I hear stories every day of how libraries are using our product to help people that are hurt by this pandemic. So we appreciate you letting us partner with you. And if there's anything we can do to help you get this in the hands of people that need it, we definitely want to do that. So, and again, I'm speaking to the choir here, but some of the different challenges that job seekers and those that maybe are looking to change careers are facing today, and you can just imagine that maybe a person was employed for 20 plus years and they just recently got laid off or furloughed during the pandemic. Maybe you're a college student and you're entering the workforce for the first time in the middle of this pandemic with people being laid off and different issues like that. And you just think about how difficult that must be. And so, people are maybe looking at changing careers and, what are the options? What can they do? This is maybe the time that they can do that. Maybe something they've always wanted to do requires a professional license or an occupational certification. Those are some challenges. They got to pass those tests. If you think about all the different components of looking for work in today's, maybe, like I said, it's been 20 years since they've had to look for a job, and now they have to go on interviews. They have to have a resume that stands out. They got to have a cover letter. Just the job searching process has changed drastically over the last 20 years. all these different challenges that people are facing, they're going to come to the public library and seek help. And we think LearningExpress Library, the tools that are in our platform, that you can provide these to patrons that will help them along that path. What Miriam's going to show you live in here just a little bit, we've got tutorials that walk people through interviews, the different kinds of interviews, the questions that they might be asked, how to negotiate for pay and salary, what should you wear, what should you not wear, what should you bring, what should you not bring, all the different components of that. Because if you think about it, that can be a very intimidating process, and it can be stressful. So by going through these tutorials, it can ease that stress level. So maybe they'll be more prepared. And the job search process with job boards and online job searches and employment agencies and workforce centers and all the different ways that people can look for it. We actually have a tutorial that walks them through that whole process. Maybe they're looking at changing a career. They're not really maybe sure what to do. I actually this morning was talking with a library in Florida, and she was telling me that she had a gentleman that I believe she said that he was a paper press or pressed paper. I'm not really sure exactly what that meant, but he did that for 30 years and he was laid off in the pandemic. And he came into the library and didn't know where to go. And she actually took him to the skills and interest assessment that we have in Career Accelerator that helps him identify, or helps people identify things that jobs and occupations based on things they like to do, but also their skills. And it opens up windows, and he was able to secure a job that was outside of what he'd been doing for 30 years by identifying it with the skills and interest matcher. And I love hearing success stories like that. And then they can browse through the occupational cards that are in the platform. Maybe you just need to build up your core academic skills a little bit to be a little bit better at math, or you need to get better at Word and Excel. Well, we've got wonderful video tutorials in our Computer Skills Center. Maybe they need to get their GED or their high school equivalency. Maybe they decide to go back to college and they need to take their placement test. And then again, we've got all the wonderful occupational tests in the platform in allied health and nursing and all the different areas that Miriam's going to walk you through in a little bit. We've got over 200 ebooks in total in the platform. Wonderful on career exploration, but also on passing some of these high-stake exams. And these are digital right management free, which means every person in your library can download these ebooks and access them at the same time. And then we've got a lot of other content, articles, flashcards, and more. So that's the different content that we have. So what's going to happen? Oh, before I hand it over to Miriam, I want to let you know about something that's new that we just recently added to the platform that you may not know of. We're constantly updating and adding new content to the platform. And occasionally I'll visit with somebody and they'll ask, hey, how do I know what content you've added or updated? And it's on our webpage. You can go look it up and find it. But, obviously sometimes maybe you don't know where to go. So we've added this What's New button. So once you've created an account and logged in, you can see that and you click on it, and then it'll show the products that you subscribe to, and you can click on that. It'll show everything that's new or updated that we've added to the platform the last quarter or the last 3 months. So that will change every 3 months on what we've added the prior 3 months. So it's just a really good place to know what's fresh and new on our platform. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So I'm going to hand it over to Miriam, and she is going to, let me stop sharing, and then I'm going to hand it over to her.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes. There you go, Miriam. You should have the presentation here any second. There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Miriam Moss, and yes, I would like to show you a few areas and resources that will assist your job seekers, your career changers, recent college grads, as well as transitioning military service members, pretty much everyone in your community that will come in and ask for any job and career help. And so remember, all of the resources that you are seeing here on your screen are self-paced, so it is very easy for users to navigate at home. We also have our user guides, our video user guides that will show your users step by step how to take advantage of everything this site has to offer. Once a user creates a username, an account, they will also have access to their own personal portfolio called My Center right here, which will store everything that they have accessed. So all of the tutorials, tests, the ebooks, all of their score reports, they'll be able to see any recommendations as well. Your users will have access to. And so today, we are going to focus on two main centers, the Career Preparation Center as well as the Job and Career Accelerator. However, please do not overlook all of the other centers that we have here that will also help your users strengthen their basic core skills that they would need for a specific certification or for a job or just to the stepping stones, so as career or college help, to help them prepare. So, of course, the High School Equivalency Center, the college admissions, the grad school resources that we have here, and then, of course, do not forget the Computer Skills Center and also the personal success, because we also have tutorials for the workplace skills, time management success, who doesn't need that, as well as personal finance and media literacy. And so let us begin by going into the Career Preparation Center. And so here, your users will be able to learn all about any in-demand careers. We do have a tutorial here for any transitioning military service members that are transitioning to college or to the civilian workforce. We have two tutorials to help them there. Under our under our job search and workplace skills, you will find soft skill tutorials to help your users successfully communicate. And so to help them in the workplace, as well as with any interview skills, any resumes and cover letters, how to conduct a successful job search, any networking skills, as well as what happens once you accept a job or you want to negotiate your salary. So we have resources to help them there. But then also within the center, you will see a number of certification and licensing exams that your users can prepare for. So you'll see we have for our air traffic controller, our allied health, we have a number of certifications, as you can see here, dental assistant, medical assistant, social work, surgical technologist. We have resources for the T's, the HESI, the APNI, the HOAE exam as well, our commercial driver's license, cosmetology, EMS and firefighting, law enforcement, our military exams. So we do have resources for the ASVAB, the military flight aptitude, the officer candidate test, as well as the CFAT exam. And then under the prepare for your nursing exam, you will see we also have additional resources for the T's, the HESI, the APNI, the NET here under the nursing school practice entrance test, resources for the nursing assistant certification, the NCLEX, RN, and PN exam. You'll see also that we have flashcards. And so let's just quickly take a look. Our flashcards are easy and fun ways for your users to retain common terms for a specific exam or just a subject area. And so they'll be able to see the front of the card. We can flip the card so they can see the answer towards the back. We could change the settings to show the front of the card first, the back, or both at the same time. Also, as your users are going through each of the cards, they can mark it as easy or as difficult. And let's just say as we get closer to test day, if your users only wanted to review the difficult cards, they can do so as well. And so let's get out of here. We'll close this resource and continue. So we just finished the nursing exam. And so you'll also see we have certification exams to prepare for, any real estate exams, our teaching exams. So you'll see our PowerPro, Praxis Core, any subject assessment tests, as well as any specific state exams. You can see here, you can check to see if your state is listed here. And then, of course, we have the Work Keys assessment and the TOEIC exam that will definitely help many of your users prepare for the skills that will be needed at the workplace. And so let us jump out of here and move on to the Job and Career Accelerator. And so within this center, you'll see we have a job dashboard, a quick little snapshot to which your users will be able to see the 5 most recently saved jobs, resumes, as well as cover letters. Of course, if they would like to view the full career dashboard, they will then be directed to their My Center dashboard, where they will be able to see all of the resumes that they have created, all of the cover letters. So you can see there's a number of different kinds of letters that your users can create to really communicate what they'd like to a prospective employer. We can save any job search. So we do have a job search as well. We could save any jobs, our occupations. We have our occupation match, as well as any recommended resources. And so let's just jump back into the Job and Career Accelerator. And so I can just show you all of the resources. And so here, again, for users that are confused or just a little boggled for in my opinion, the hardest part of the job search process, the resume, just getting it created. So we've made it easy. We have our resume builder tool, as well as a cover letter builder tool that you see right here. It will definitely walk your users step by step. We also have sample resumes also that they can pull from that will definitely help your users really bring out the best in their resume as well as their cover letter. You'll also see we have 2 tutorials as well on creating great resumes as well as cover letters. I'll just open one so that you can take a look at the great resumes. So here, it will tell your users everything about like what is exactly a resume, what you should include. So what is the right format for you? We have different kinds here that your users can take a look at. The anatomy of the resume. So your headline, your heading, your qualifications, experience, any licensing and certification, endorsement. So what exactly should you put? And when you are filling out that section, what exactly should you highlight? And so your users will have step-by-step tips listed here. And so I just wanted to just quickly scroll so that you can see. I'll close out of here. And so remember that within the resume and cover letter section right here. Under the Find a Career Match, you will find 2 ONET-based questionnaires that your users can complete. It is an interest matcher quiz as well as a skills matcher quiz, and it will give your users a list. I've already filled it out. So they are 2 ONET-based questionnaires. It takes about 15 minutes to complete, and it will link your users with the occupations that best suits their interest level as well as their skills level. And so going under here, under our occupation match, so I have already filled out both the interest and the skills, and so I'm going to open this up. Your users will be provided a list of their 2 highest scoring categories. It will be listed as their primary occupation match as well as their secondary occupation match. They can take a look at the list. They can click on anything that seems of interest, Once they do so, it will direct them to an occupation card. And so the occupation cards contain a wealth of information, honestly, that your users will definitely benefit from. Once the page loads, you'll be able to see. Also, I do want to mention that Tammy has been kind enough to put in a link of a full demonstration of the Job and Career Accelerator. So if you are interested in the Job and Career Accelerator and all of the features, you can definitely take a look at that link, that video demonstration, as I go throughout the full center. And so you will definitely get everything that you need to know there. And so here, the dental assistant occupation card. So here, as you can see, users will be provided a little video that will tell them all about this specific occupation. I'll just play a little bit for you to hear.
Help make dentists more efficient and patients more comfortable. They perform a blend of direct patient care and administrative duties.
Okay, I'll just pause. We do have closed captioning as well as a transcript that they can follow along with, your users can follow along with. They'll also find the wages and trends based against their state against the US average. And so they will be able to see if there's growth in that industry as well. They'll be able to see the knowledge, skills, and abilities that are needed in that occupation, the tasks and activities that are required, tools and technology that are used, education and training. But most of all, I wanted to point out this, the recommended occupation practice resources. And so here you will find all of the resources that will link your users to all of the resources to prepare, all of the tools to prepare for that specific occupation. And so if I were to click this dental assistant exam, this should be the ebook. And so as you can see, the PDF is downloading right now, and you should be able to see it any second now. Here we are. So as you can see, this is the full text ebook that your users will have access to. As you can see, 304 pages. Once they download this ebook, it is theirs to keep. So it is DRM free, as Jimmy mentioned earlier today. And so this is great because they will definitely get a head start on what to expect and how to prepare for that or for that specific certification exam. So I'll just close out of that. So as you can see, that has a list of information as well as any recommended skills improvement. So as you saw earlier in the Career Center, the work keys. And so here are some, it is recommended that the work keys, they will definitely benefit from that, as well as if they can brush up on their math skills, their grammar, their writing, as well as their reading skills, if they're definitely contemplating and thinking of becoming a dental assistant. And so let's go back. Remember, that was the career match. So I took the exam and it brought me to the occupation card, but your users can find all of the occupation cards that we have under our Explore Occupations tab. And so they can see all of the occupations under the green sector, our hot technologies, definitely all of the in-demand technology jobs, military to civilian occupations. So here your veterans can actually type in their military code and they will get a list of civilian occupations that are similar to what they did in the service. Our in-demand occupations, you will find all of the jobs that are projected to have long-term growth. Occupation groups are everything, but it's just group organized. It's organized into groups. Occupation groups. And then also we have our STEM occupations, so all of the jobs within technology, engineering, mathematics. And then you'll also find the 2 tutorials that I mentioned earlier for veterans that are transitioning from the service to college or to the civilian workforce, we have the 2 tutorials here as well that they can also access. Let's move on quickly to our search for jobs and internships. So here your users will have access to our job search. We have our Indeed job search board. We have an internship search as well as just recently added the federal job search. So this is from the US jobs database, and the Indeed is definitely from Indeed. And so your users, we've just added this also. We do have a tutorial, not a tutorial, I'm sorry, an ebook for those that are thinking of going into the federal sector. And so they can definitely use this in conjunction as they search for jobs here. And then, of course, we do have a tutorial on finding your next job. And so this will help them just decide and also just be aware of all of the options that they have, whether it is a job fair, looking online, reaching out to friends and those in their communities. And so this will help them just really explore all of the resources in the areas that can really get them to their next dream job. And so let's move on to prepare for an interview. So of course, here your users will find all of the resources to prepare for an interview. These are not ebooks, these are actual sample letters that your users can download and print out so that they can definitely see a sample of any thank you notes, any follow-up notes for an interview. We have a tutorial also on job offers and salary negotiations, as well as another tutorial here, Interview with Confidence. This is another tutorial that your users will definitely benefit from. It helps them definitely target and learn the answers to the tough questions, like what is your weakest areas, and tell me about yourself. And so this will definitely not only help them understand why an employer is asking them that question, but also how to really confidently answer that question. And so you'll find that there. That was Prepare for an Interview. And then we have our career ebook library. So of course you will find a number of ebooks that will definitely help your users either learn about a specific career or here to help them. So 100 Conversations for Career Success. And then lastly, we have our school and our scholarship search. So they can definitely search for it here. And so this is LearningExpress Library. And so again, you can see we have a number of resources here that will definitely help your users get to their next job. As I mentioned, do not forget the other centers, just like building your skills, the college admissions test, the school centers, the college students, because as you can see, we have the math, the reading, grammar, science, college placement, CLEP, as well as graduate schools. I think I noticed a few questions, so I will like to take a few time before I move it on, pass the baton to Trish. I could just take a few questions. I noticed, are the ebooks all DRM free and downloadable? Yes, they are. As I mentioned, your users, we have over 200 full text ebooks that are all accessible throughout the site, and your users can download it. Once they do, it is theirs to keep. We do make sure that all of the resources that you see here are updated, because again, it doesn't make sense to have your users prepare and use resources that are outdated. And so we do make sure that all of the resources are up to date so that once they download and they keep it to review, it is up to date, and so they are getting the best and most current to get to where they need to go. So I think that's about it from my side. I am going to now
Yeah, if you'll
pass it
pass it
on.
back to me, If you'll pass it back
Yes.
to me, Miriam, I appreciate that, Miriam. And
Yes.
even though we didn't get into it, don't forget the Computer Skills Center, all the video tutorials that are there, that if people need to be better at the Microsoft software, there's wonderful tutorials there to help them and can really help them in their job searching and stuff. So we focus on the job and career resources. So this is great. So now you know what all we have in the platform. How do you make sure that your patrons know how to find these things? And so that's what Trish is going to walk through and explain to you how we can work with you in different ways to make sure that you can get this information in front of the right people. So I am going to share the PowerPoint that Trish is going to walk through. So I think, hit this, make sure it pops up.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Miriam.
You're welcome. Yep.
So hi, I'm Trish, and my role with LearningExpress is to help ensure you're getting the best value from your LearningExpress subscriptions. I may have spoken with many of you before, but if I've not, it's nice to meet you. I can specifically work with you to help promote these important resources and make them easy for patrons to access. Today, more than ever, we're tasked with making sure career resources are intuitive and easily accessible for patrons who may be accessing remotely. Right now, I'm going to talk about a few tools that will help you do that. The tools that I'll go over today are the direct center and subject matter URLs, digital MARC records, online promotion kits, and library-aware resources. The first tool I'd like to go over is utilizing direct center URLs. So the buttons that you saw Miriam go through, like Job and Career Accelerator and Career Center, they're called Center. And for each of those, we have URLs that go to directly to those centers. It allows you to break LearningExpress Library into smaller groups of content. The benefit of using these is that they draw awareness to content that a user might not have known was available in LearningExpress Library. And ultimately, it makes it easier and faster for users to find what they're looking for. I'd also like to talk about category URLs or subject matter URLs. In addition to using the center links, which I just went over, category links allow libraries to quickly link patrons to more specific content found in this resource. What we're showing on this slide is a list of various career paths that can be directly linked to. So, for example, prepare for military exams, or prepare for nursing exams, prepare for real estate exams, and so forth. I encourage you to place these links on intuitive locations on your website, in social media, and in email blasts. I should note that they can be authenticated to your library by using an auth token. That means they're shareable outside of the library without there being any kind of firewall to get in the way of the patron accessing it. We're okay with that. It makes it quicker, especially at this time. We just want to make things simpler for the user. They're also well used, though, in research guides and shared with library instructors who may be only focusing on specific content, like career counselors. The next thing I'd like to go over is downloading the MARC records into your digital catalogs. MARC records are crucial to helping patrons find specific library resources quickly and easily, especially now that most people are getting to library resources remotely and they're not with you to ask you questions and show you where to go. There are MARC records available for all of the items in LearningExpress Library and Job and Career Accelerator, not only for ebooks, but also practice tests, tutorials, flashcards, and all of the types of resources. On this page, you'll see an example of a library who downloads the MARC records. I searched for GED, and you'll see that the first 6 or so results contain links to that content from LearningExpress. To learn how to easily download these records into your digital catalogs, please use the link that we have provided in the chat box. We're continuously updating and adding content, as Jimmy had mentioned, so I encourage you to update the records quarterly. The next tool I'd like to talk about are the online promotion kits. These kits can be found on EBSCO Connect and include items such as bookmarks, posters, handouts, graphics, and more. There are also social media kits, which include images and sample posts for promoting on Twitter and Facebook. If you haven't checked them out in a while, please do. There's a lot of new great material there, and so I urge you to check them out. Finally, the last tool I'm going to talk about today is Library Aware. Library Aware is a great resource that can help promote LearningExpress as well as all of your other resources, not just LearningExpress. The Novelist team is great, and they've created Library Aware to help with newsletters, email blasts, flyers, and so much more. They've created a bunch of templates specific to LearningExpress, which we are so grateful for. For inspiration and to see some of the pre-made templates, take a look at their Pinterest page. If you don't currently subscribe to Library Aware and like more info and a free trial, you can let us know, or your account executives, and we'll be happy to get you more information. So that's all I have to share. It's a lot of information. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat box or at the end. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about these tools. And good luck, and I will speak with you at some point, I'm sure.
I appreciate that, Trish. And yes, if you're interested in making sure that you can promote the LearningExpress and Job and Career Accelerator resources to your community and to your patrons on your library's homepage, definitely let Trish know, and we can work with you to make sure we get those links to you and help you create those. If you would like to download the MARC records, check out the chat box and make sure you get that information. And if you need any help doing that, be sure to reach out to us as well. Again, like I mentioned, we're in a very difficult time, and I'm very hopeful with the vaccines that are coming, that this COVID, maybe we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We still got a ways to go, but I think the ramifications and those that are hurt by this economic crisis that the COVID-19 has caused, people are going to be coming to the library more and more often to seek help. And we want you to be aware of the content that's in your products that you can use to help these people. And then also how to promote it and make sure that they're aware of it. So if you have any questions, I'll be sure to reach out to us. I'm going to turn it back over, and I think Trish just posted her email address in the chat box. I'm going to turn it back over to Tammy to wrap up. And again, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for being a customer of LearningExpress Library. We appreciate it. We hope that you're able to help your community significantly with these products. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. So we have a few questions, and hopefully one of the three of you will be able to just unmute yourself and answer them for us. One of the questions we got was, have the tutorials been updated to include mention of Zoom and other virtual interview sources?
So that is a really good question, and I don't know that we have any Zoom information currently. We are currently working on 5 digital tutorials that we'll be adding to the platform sometime in the next 3 to 4 months. I can't remember how far out we're on it, but they're what we're calling 5 digital resources: how to work from home, how to study from home, different things like that. So it will include information on the different kind of meeting softwares, and Zoom will be included in that.
So there's a second question from the same attendee. She says, do you have information for libraries to use to assist patrons with previous records or who have served time in prison?
I'm not sure that we have specifically that kind of information on the platform. Are you familiar with anything like that, Miriam? I mean, that's a really good suggestion.
That is a really good, yeah.
So,
no, we currently do not, but this is something that we can definitely bring to our content team to see if there's something that we can develop for that market. Yeah.
So just about everything on our platform, and again, we're constantly adding content and looking to add content, and just about everything that we've added is because we get recommendations from our customers. So if you see something that you feel like our platform's lacking, and if you can send us those suggestions, and I think that's a great suggestion, any information that could help those that are coming from our prison system. So we'll definitely get that to our content team to look at developing something like that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We've had a couple of questions on this about the resume templates. Do they align to the applicant tracking system?
I don't believe they do. I don't know that we have an applicant tracking system, or I'm not familiar with any that do.
I know they're formatted. You can get them. They download as a PDF format, text file, as well as a Word document. So if you have a tracking system that will accept a text format, a PDF, or a Word document, then yes. The answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you, Miriam.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So the next question is, are there any tutorials or ebooks on how social media can be used to help in one's job search?
You want to take that, Miriam? I believe
we do. Actually, if I can share my screen, I can definitely show you quickly.
Here, let me,
where you can find one.
Well, I'll have to pass the ball over to you, I think. Let me pass the ball
Yes,
over to you.
please.
So, yeah.
Okay, so within our Computer Skills Center, I believe it is getting started with the internet, social media tools. So we have everything here. So we have Google Docs, we have social networking, so using Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, using blogs, podcasts, news groups, of course, internet safety, how to properly use email. So yes, you will find that information here.
And I believe we have some ebooks on how to use social media in starting a business and running a business. We have some ebook content like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I believe it is here. So we have social networking for career success. Yes. And then also another area that I did not mention is the guidance. Also, here you will also find a wealth of information. We also have a tutorial on how to fill out a job application. And this is for those that are brand new to the internet to get started. So if they're completing an application online or in person, so that'll give them step-by-step tips. But then they'll also get expert advice depending on their level. And so as you can see here under our entry level, how to keep your online profile clean, how to build a network, entry level resumes that will get noticed, reference do's and don'ts, thank you notes that are do's and don'ts. And so you'll find, as you can see, there's a wealth of information here that will cover and help and assist your users to get that job.
thank you, Miriam.
You're welcome.
Okay, there's another question here that's a good one. Any thoughts, or they're asking us if we are going to update or provide updates on any federal relief packages and how people in business can access them. I think that would be something we would do maybe outside of the product. I'm wondering if they're talking about grants, like the CARES Act. I don't know if Lisa's still on the call, if she could maybe elaborate on that question. That might be helpful. Stimulus CARES Act. That's what I thought she was talking about. I have a blog, EBSCO Connect FAQ that provides information on available grants and how to find them. I will look for that. I don't want to do it right now because I'll be furiously typing, and I don't want to do that in the middle of the webinar, but I will get that information to you, Lisa, and anyone else that's interested. It's in EBSCO Connect. And if you actually go to EBSCO Connect and type grants, it should come up in the search. Let me, if somebody's answering the next question, I can maybe try to do that on the fly. So another question was, how often is the Indeed job and internship data updated?
That is yearly. Yearly, our content team will go in and just make sure that everything is updated. The same goes for the scholarships also. So we do that for the jobs as well as the scholarships.
And the Indeed is actually a live job search. So it literally, if a job was posted 5 minutes ago and you do a search for a particular job, it will, it'll pick stuff up that was, just loaded. So if the job was posted and you do a search on Indeed, it'll come up immediately. That was just, if that's the question you were asking.
I just posted the link. I found it while Jimmy was talking.
Okay. Yeah, and I was trying to find it as well. So thank you for getting that.
So hopefully that is helpful. I feel like there was another question. Let's see. Well, one of the questions is, and I think we could provide this after the fact, was if we could provide some examples of a customer who's done a good job of using their website to point to the elements in the database. I think that's something that Trish might be able to provide me. What we can do is provide links somewhere. I'll have to figure out exactly, maybe in the email that we follow up with in terms of sharing this recording with folks. I think that we could probably provide some of those. If not, if you reach out to Trish at tpollitz@ebsco.com, I know she'll be able to provide some examples.
Yeah, and I like the idea though, if we can share kind of an overview of these tools in the email that goes out, that would be great. I think it's just a good thing to keep in your email folders. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. Well, I don't see any other questions. And if I've missed anything, I am sorry. I know I was answering some of you privately because I was able to give you a quick answer. But if I missed anything, we'll go through them all to make sure that everybody's been responded to. And again, oops, another question just came in. I will take this one more question since we do have a little bit more time. How do the MARC records work in reference to the online catalog that is shared between almost all libraries in a library system? She's talking about patron authentication.
Yeah, so I didn't talk about that, but each library has their own. So for a system, if you share a catalog, I can get you, and I may have sent that over before, but your authentication token for the system, and it acts as your MARC access key. And so if you're downloading them into the system, then you use that, and they won't authenticate that way to the individual libraries. The only way they will authenticate to the individual libraries is if they use their own auth token access key. Does that make sense?
I don't know, Denise, does that make sense?
They'll still get to the resources. It will just be getting to the resources through the NASA site versus the individual library site, which is fine with us. Just know that usage statistics will roll up to the NASA library and not their individual libraries.
We can follow up with you. She said thanks, but we can follow up with you if you need more information on that, Denise. So again, thank you all for joining us so much. You'll receive an email from us within the next few days with a link to today's session, a recording anyway, along with contact information should you have any further questions or comments. So thank you all very much for joining us this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're calling in from. And I hope you all have a safe and happy holiday season. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate it,
you.
Tammy. Thank you, everyone.